Jo, you're one of my special clients, or they're all special, of course, but we've got a particularly special bond.
Yes.
Would you like to tell me about another treatment that I helped you with?
Yeah. So it was a prenatal treatment, and basically my partner and I were trying to conceive for probably about a year. And doctors were being brilliant, and I was having blood tests, and we were trying to find out what was going on, and we couldn't pinpoint what was going on. And I was being taken down the route of probably an ovulation issue. So we were going down that road with the doctors, and again, family friends said, "Look, why don't you go and see Dawn and go and talk to her and see what you can talk about?" And we started off. I think the idea was to start off with tapping and talking about things like that. And I think we spent, it was like 3 hours or something, wasn't it? A long amount of time talking through some ideas about pregnancy that I had no idea that I had, and feelings associated with pregnancy that I didn't realise that I had. And just making myself far more positive about the whole process. And I remember going into it going, feeling quite cynical and feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of the feeling like this about pregnancy, and just then suddenly feeling like this huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And within, I think it was within like a month and a bit, my cycles went from going from 28 days to 44 days, suddenly started going back to 28 days. And then I think it was within about 4 months, we naturally conceived.
And by this time you'd already seen somebody.
Yeah, I'd been to see a fertility specialist. I'd been, I think, once for a consultation, and then we've gone back a second time and actually recommended. Well, I was told I probably wasn't ovulating at all, and they had given me a fertility drug, and I was all ready to actually start the fertility drug. And yeah, things were all ready to go, and I never had to take that fertility drug.
If I remember correctly, your cycles historically had been not quite regulated. I don't like to use the word normal.
Yeah, never quite there. I mean, I don't think I really had ever analysed it, because you don't until you really start looking into these things. But once I started analysing it, it was quite obvious it had never been a regular cycle.
I think I recall that you'd started off with a very, very long cycle, and after the first session that we did, which was EFT and a lot of counselling, it wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't. Well, I say counselling. When I say counselling, I mean talk.
Yes. Yeah.
and understand.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing that made me very interested with your case particularly, because we started at 44 days and then it came down to 30-something days, and then it came down again to lower 30s, and then 20-something, and then you were pregnant, and I knew.
Yeah. yeah. You knew. I think you actually hinted to my sister-in-law before we even got to say anything.
I nearly let the cat out of the bag, I'm sorry. What do you think was stopping you from becoming pregnant?
I think hugely was my own perceptions of pregnancy, my own way of visualising it, my own way of perceiving it, and then being able to look at it in a completely different light and letting go of all the negativity that I didn't even know I had associated with it, and just actually going, okay, I'm gonna, let it go.
Jo, if somebody came to you and said, I need help with an issue, what would you suggest that I can help them with as a therapist?
Yeah, I think there's just so many things. I think a huge variety of things. But personally, the biggest thing was the prenatal issue, and just letting go of that sadness and that negativity that I didn't even know that I was holding, and just realising things will happen when they happen, and you've just got to try and enjoy yourself, really.
And a few months on, how old is he now?
He's 6-7 months old.
6-7 months old. And let me assure you, if it was a girl, it was going to be called Dawn.
Yeah.
But somehow he loves me to pieces, and I
Yes.
can get a better smile than other people I can
Yes,
mention.
he's a fan. He's
I've got a
big fan.
Dawn fan of all age. Jo, thank you very much. I know that you have to run because you have to go and do the stuff with the family, but I look forward to speaking to you again. And once again, thank you for this time.
Okay.